Are we here? Yes. We will. Welcome back to Grounded Football. Hope you are all well. I am hosting it tonight, even though it's Indiana's show. Prime, how you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
All good. All good in the hood. All good in the hood. Kesh, you all right? You're not all right. You're choking. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Danny boy, what you saying?
Listen, Jesse Lingard banged some goals in. Liverpool lost. Couldn't be a better night, mate.
And the main man himself, Indiana. What you saying?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Like Danny says, Leicester pull are back, and Jesse Lingard's banged in 2 goals, and we told Spurs they should have taken him, but they didn't want to listen because they're so wrapped up in Dele Alli. Small club problems, you know.
Yeah, it is quite crazy, isn't it? The Jesse Lingard thing.
Well,
but we move on. Who is? West Ham.
Just looking at the table now.
That's mad, isn't it?
No, they're in 5th, 2 points behind Liverpool, but they're 5 points clear of Tottenham. Tottenham got 2 games in hand, but as we know, games in hand don't mean anything until you win them. So.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to talk about Tuchel to start with.
Gem? Sorry. Where are Chelsea? Where are Chelsea?
We're coming. We're warming up.
Couldn't see them down.
Don't worry about it. We're moving like the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight.
This season, yeah.
Trust me. Don't worry about us. All we got to do is build up a bit of consistency.
Before we touch on Tuchel, did Thiago play today? Because I haven't watched any of the game because I knew it'd be a boring game. Is he playing?
He did play today. I saw he played today. He did.
Oh, for Liverpool.
He did.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Are you sure he plays for Liverpool? Because some Liverpool fans are saying he's playing against us.
Let's get into it, Tuchel. You wanted to bring this up, Jim.
Yeah, no, I'll start it.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I know 2 games, but I'm impressed thus far.
Okay, you start, Prem. You go.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. I'm impressed thus far. Seen some tactical flexibility, actual control of the game. Yes, we play Spurs. That will be. They are in bad form right now, yes, but they will be an actual test up against a quality manager. But we should get through it fairly comfortably, mainly due to the fact they're in such poor form, and they will be without Harry Kane. Although it just popped into my head now, Harry Kane being out could be mind games. So now I'm a bit skeptical.
I agree. I feel like, Harry Kane is for me the biggest thing for Tottenham. I think if you look at it, without him, yes, they have got Son, should we say, and he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but Harry Kane just molds it together. He I don't know. He's everything, isn't he? He's a creator. He scores goals. He leads the line very well, and losing him is a big miss for them because without him, they've only got one element of a goal scorer and Son, and that's it. There's no one else in that team that contribute to goals, and that's the biggest problem for Mourinho.
I disagree with that. I
think you're just like, you name Kesh. Other than Son and Kane, who else scores in their team? Go on, name me some players.
That's a Mourinho problem that he's causing. This you got what's it called? Vinicius or whatever his name is. He's capable of scoring goals if you play football.
Who?
The striker at the side of Benfica, he's capable of scoring goals.
Probably, but they don't play him. That's not my point. My point is they're heavily reliant on 2 players to perform. Yeah, and if they don't perform, there's no goals.
It's a Jose problem, and he needs to come up with solutions and trying to get this team to play. And this is why I've always been against this. Oh, it's Jose. He's going to win trophies. Yes, he can win trophies, but if he doesn't win a trophy this year, then what was the point of you bringing him in? It's pointless. You should have kept Poch and actually back him. I think Poch could have done a lot more if you'd given him more players.
Yeah, I hear you. Dan, what are your thoughts on the game tomorrow? How do you think it's going to go?
Well, look, to your point about Tottenham and their problem scoring goals, well, other than having Harry Kane and Son, you're not wrong. Like, Kane's got 12 Premier League goals, Son's got 12. The next in line is Ndombele with 3. So you're not wrong
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
This is the thing, though, Jen. You're not wrong there, but these are problems over a 38-game season. Tomorrow's just one game. I'm surprised that I was shocked at what Prime said. Then I was even more shocked that you agreed with him that it'd be a comfortable game. It's not going to be a comfortable game at all.
Jose,
It's a one-off game. Listen, Tottenham can win with Alderweireld scoring a winner tomorrow. It's just one game. Over the course of a 38-game season, you should finish above them for the reasons you pointed out. But for tomorrow, listen, Arsenal took 4 points from Man United. I think Kesh and others were tweeting about it, right? Thank you very much. Then you go and lose the next game like they did when they beat us earlier on in the season. It's just one game. I think, we'll get to predictions later, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham won. And you're only 3 games into Tuchel's reign. Like, whatever pretty pattern to play that's impressing you guys.
Yeah, but Dan,
doesn't mean
the only reason
you guys are going to win tomorrow.
the only reason it won't be easy is because Mourinho will park the bus. If they come out and play against us, we will open them up. Because why? Because they've got a fragile defence that cannot defend to save their life. So what they do is they park the bus and they play counter. Do you know what I mean? So that's the only reason that they might beat us tomorrow is by doing that. And us missing the chances and not being clinical, because we will get chances tomorrow. We will, 100%. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
You betting money on it? You got your bet 365.
I
2.5 goals.
I generally don't think there will be a lot of chances in this game. I generally don't.
Why?
I think Jose's gonna come and be Jose's shithouse and just say, "You lot ain't doing fuck all today." Honestly, I feel it's gonna be a 1-1, either a 1-1 draw or a stalemate. Honestly.
Or
Indiana, what you saying, man?
He's gonna kill the match. That's what he's gonna do.
On tomorrow,
Yeah.
it's a tough one. I think Jose's going to kill the match. I mean, you've got Kane's a big miss, but I think you'll see players like Mora and Son playing wide with the counter. You've got Tiny versus Dorothy, which is not going to be a great matchup, to be honest. It's going to be boring. Again, Chelsea should win this game. They should win this game. But my question is, has Tuchel had enough time to prepare for this game with the players? I mean, how long does a manager need to get these things in place? How much does he know about Jose and Spurs? I just feel that this is the sort of game where Jose might nick a point or 2 or 3, sorry. But I think Chelsea should win it. They should win it on paper. There's big problems at Spurs for me, and we'll talk about that when Ryan comes in, a Spurs fan. But Chelsea should nick this game. But I agree with Danny. I don't think it'd be a comfortable win. I know I've said that to you, but I don't actually believe that.
Another thing as well, I was just looking at this. So your top goal scorer is Tammy. Don't know how that's happened, with 6 goals. And then after Tammy, it's Zuma with 4. So can't really brag.
What's that based on?
I mean,
Premier League.
Yeah, Premier League.
What is that based on? Just Premier League goals only.
Yeah, Tammy's your top goal scorer with 6 goals. Then the next after him is Zuma, and joint second is Werner. But we know he's missed a lot of sitters. Otherwise, he'd probably have 10 Premier League goals this season. See, I think Mourinho's going to kill the game, and you know what works against you, Jam? To Indiana's point, Tuchel hasn't had enough time. Like, he hasn't had enough time. So again, I said this to you last time. I didn't see your last game, but I did say I looked at your fixtures when Tuchel came over and was like, right, you're playing against low block teams, which means Tuchel can practice the repetition. He wants to break teams down, but at the same time, they're difficult games because nobody's going to want to open up against you. So now you have another test with another team that's going to be another.
I agree with that.
But it'll be the best team you faced, best team Tuchel's faced. Obviously, he's only been in charge for 3 matches, and Mourinho is the master of the block. So.
Yeah, but I suppose it's just I just don't. I'm not. It's not that I'm overconfident. It's just that I don't know. Look, it could go both ways. They could beat us. There's no not saying that they cannot beat us. But from what I've seen and what they've picked up from him in such a short space of time, I mean, the way we line up on paper is completely different to the way we lined up when we're actually playing the game. We changed formation about 2-3 times within a game. So for teams playing against us, it must be a nightmare because you can see the players that are playing, but you don't specifically know how and what we're going to do. And I think that's something that Tuchel brings to Chelsea, which may confuse. You know, when Jose Mourinho sets out against individual teams, he knows who's coming, what to expect, what formation. I think it's very different for Tuchel. I don't think he does do that. So I don't know. We'll see. You might, like I said, we might draw tomorrow. We might lose. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not sitting here saying we're going to go and smash it, but I expect us to beat them. I do expect us to beat them, and we need to. We've got to get maximum points from now, and we've got to, catch up. So we need to win these games for me. So we'll just have to see what happens. Mr. Prime, anything else you want
to Yeah, I think it's just grounded football and it's about honesty. I think it's because there hasn't been a sample size of games. It might be tough for Jose to figure him out. However, these big games is what Jose is primed and ready for. The only drawback would be, well, one, no Kane, and two, it looks like the players have stopped playing for him, really, if the past two results are anything to go by. So, I don't know.
I don't understand where people have got that. Stop buying into the Mourinho's done hype. Just stop it.
No. I genuinely don't believe he's done. I genuinely don't believe.
But this idea they stopped playing for him. No, they've hit a rut because the manager doesn't allow them to play expansive football. Do you know what I mean? Mourinho's obsessed with seeing his players fight.
I don't think Jose's done. Listen, they have to apply context to it. I don't think Jose's done as in what he can achieve, but I think he's done because he's never going to get a club that's going to back him the way he should be backed. It's not going to happen. He's not going to get another Madrid that he's going to go where they're going to say, you know what, we know what you're capable of. Here's the money. Do what you got to do. So he's always going to come up on stock. If at a team like Tottenham, they're going to give him 1 or 2 players and then leave. Likely he's done. Yeah, you can go ahead and see what you can do with that. You can't treat Jose like that. Once he comes in, you give him the money and you let him get in a few different players for different positions, and that's how Jose works. And that's why I say he's done. But it's not because I don't believe in his ability as a coach. We know that he's got that ability. His track record says it all. You know what I mean?
No, I agree, and I really want to touch on Jose later when RDS and Ryan get here. But can I ask, how long do you think Tuchel needs to really implement a system or style of play? Are we seeing the start of it now, or are we seeing just a new manager bounce from him? Because that would be my biggest question.
I don't think he's got time. I don't think time is his friend at the moment. You're in between, you're in the middle of a league at the moment where games are coming thick and fast. We're playing 2 games a week. You know what I mean? He's had a week since he's been here. He's had a week now to do whatever he needs to do within training. Have a couple of games in between. I feel like he's just got to kick on and get him to pick it up very good. These guys are talented top players. At the end of the day, they should be able to pick up on it pretty quickly. We have got Ryan here now. He's in the background. Get him in. Ryan, the Spurs fan, how you doing, bro? You right?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right, bro. How are you?
Not bad, man. Not bad. You come in a good time, man. We're talking about the Chelsea and Spurs game. What are your thoughts on Mourinho so far? Obviously, do you think Mourinho should be sacked? Do you think he could be sacked if he loses the game tomorrow to Chelsea?
Nah, it's too expensive to sack. Our board aren't about that. They're not about spending money. They will not sack him. They'll leave it. We're stuck with him now till the end of his contract. So after that, we'll just have to see how if he gets us a Europa League, I'll happily backtrack and say how much I love him. But after that, I don't think he'll win us note. But we still won't sack him.
Yeah, no, I hear you. How confident are you about tomorrow's game? I know I spoke to you not long ago, didn't we, on a Big Gunners channel actually? How confident are you in the game?
You know what? It's Tottenham, so we're likely to beat Chelsea and then lose to West Brom at the weekend. That's just how Tottenham do things. But the way we're playing at the minute, I'm expecting to lose Timo Werner to break his duck, Marcus Alonso to score a routine free kick. I'm not confident with tomorrow at all. It's just the way they've got, especially without Harry Kane as well. If he's just playing Son up there to play against Rudiger or Zuma and Thiago Silva, he's not going to beat them for much with Dyer's long balls.
The thing is, do you not feel he's capable of doing it different? Like, remember, Kane's been dropping into the 10 position. There's no one in that squad right now who I feel can do that same role. So he might come out with a totally different lineup, totally different game plan as to what you've seen all season. And that's typical Jose. I've seen him do it many times before.
Oh, if he does it, if he changes it up, maybe. If he does, but I just don't feel like we've got the players. I think if Dele was fit, and now they've cleared the air and all that, he could come back into that 10 role. But the only player I can see him playing there is he'll probably put a Lamella in there or someone like that. That's what I expect of him at the minute, and he's spent he's spent more than half of his career with Tottenham out injured. So I do not expect any. The only thing I expect from him is the battle at the bridge when he stood on Fabregas's hand and swiped a few plays. That's all I expect of him.
Can I ask?
Do you feel like you missed the boat?
Sorry, before you answer,
Sorry.
Ryan, I've got a dip. I've got a train to head to in like 10 minutes.
Prime.
Thanks for coming on, Prime, man.
I love being on ground
See you later,
on this channel. Everyone like, subscribe, share. You know what to do. Yeah. Peace, everyone.
Take care, man.
Take care.
See you later. So where was we?
Dan, you were asking a
Dan was
question,
saying. Dan was saying.
Yeah,
Go on.
I just wanted to ask Ryan about. Oh, nice to meet you, by the way, Ryan. About the Celso. Very, very talented player, coming with some hype from Spain. I thought we would have kicked on. I've been saying to Tottenham fans who are part of the terrorist community, like I think everybody knew what Son and Kane was doing wasn't sustainable. So I expected Mourinho to get a purple patch out of Bergwijn, out of Lo Celso in particular as well. Hasn't happened. Like, what's going on with Lo Celso? Why isn't he an influential player in this Tottenham team? Is it him or is it Mourinho?
I think it's his injuries more, mate. To be honest, he's injured. He has had quite a lot of injuries. He's a bit like Lamella for us. He'll play 3, 4, 5 games and then he goes missing for a month. Like, I think he's due back now the end of February. And the longer he stays out, the better Ndombele's played. So with him in the team, I can't see a way back for Lo Celso now. Not with our well Ndombele's, but he is a good player. Lo Celso, he is. Like I say, he could be a good number 10, but it's not. I don't know what is. I just see him like Lamella. Like I say, it's just injury after injury after injury. It just don't seem to work out for him with us at all.
Do you feel like you missed the boat with Jesse, with Lingard?
No, I was just talking about that on Eleanor's show on the terrace a minute ago. She was saying that she's happy we didn't get him, but after seeing what he's done tonight, I think he would have been a good player to bring in.
We told her. We've been telling her in the Football Terrace group chat.
I said it.
Alex, he's the player you need, full of energy. If Mourinho wants him, you should get him in. Move Dele Alli on. It just seems madness they didn't get him. I don't think Mourinho's going to be very happy right now.
No, not after seeing him tonight as well. Like I say, debut for West Ham, bags 2 for him. You know what? He's a good. I think people forget he is a good because he hasn't been playing for Man U. He's got some talent. He can break between those lines. He can get past the striker and he can bag. You've seen him do it for Man U and England. So why we didn't go for him on loan till the end of the season, I do not know. But that's just something I put to our board. Maybe Man U asked for too much of a loan fee and they've just backed off.
I think we wouldn't have given it to a top 6 rival. That's another thing. So we wouldn't have loaned it to Spurs or Arsenal or Chelsea or something. So even though arguably West Ham is more of a top 4 rival, arguably this season than Spurs are, but I would imagine the logic is that giving them to a top 6 rival would have been he wouldn't have gone. Maybe that might be it.
Yeah, it is all tactical. It is. I can't blame you. I cannot blame you. Like I said, it's all tactical now. You don't want to loan a player to benefit a top 6 team as they're known about. So I can see, like I said, if we went for him, I can imagine Man U to ask for double the amount of loan fee they would have got off a West Ham or a Wolves or someone like that. So I can see why we didn't get him.
Or a permanent
Ryan,
deal.
do you
Oh my!
You have to buy him.
do you think?
What happened, Josh?
I got a feeling Jose will probably
Nah.
leave at the end of the season.
I didn't
but
realize that. Hold on, you don't even realize Liverpool was at home, so they got their second defeat at home.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Yeah. I don't think they're going to beat
Yeah.
City the weekend. I actually thought.
No, I
it might
said
be
this already. I said
I'd
this
love
already. I
them
did
to.
say
It'd be great if they did. It'd be perfect for Man United if they did.
If Liverpool beat City, but I can't
Yeah.
see them doing that. Like this, team is just it's bad. But shout out to Brighton because I mean they did beat Spurs and people cut Jose. Now they've beaten Liverpool, so maybe it's Brighton actually a good team as opposed
maybe
to
Klopp's finished. Maybe Klopp's passed it.
yeah. Let's move on to the next topic, guys.
I've got to hold my hands up. I did actually
Go
say this last season. I think he's just too stubborn. I think he's one of those managers that's just too stubborn to change it up. I think he's not going to try and change the winning formula. He's just going to keep going with it, and it will be their downfall. I honestly believe that with Liverpool.
Yeah, I hear you. Look, let's move on to the next topic. Last man rules. Who wanted to talk about that? Who was it?
I think I brought that up in the chat.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Go on, bro.
Obviously, with the relation with what happened yesterday, or two incidents: the David Luiz incident and the Bednarek incident. It was, I think, against in the United game. Now, there's been a lot of debate. I think a lot of people think it's harsh, and I can understand why. Because the original intent for why the rule was brought in the first place was to stop players from just, pulling people down or doing dangerous challenges to stop the last man, so that if that was the case, then they would get an automatic red card. That's fair, which is fair enough,
Yeah.
But what we saw, I think, yesterday was this interpretation where the player has to be perceived to have to make a clear attempt for the ball. So, in a sense, it would almost been better if David Luiz or Bednarek had sort of gone in through the player, swiped them to get an attempt for the ball, and they would have got a yellow card for that, as opposed to what they did, where I think in the case of David Luiz, I think it was an accident. He just clipped him. And then as far as Bednarek goes, likewise. And they got a red card for it. So I'm not sure whether that should be punished in the same way as a deliberate pulling, but it still seems to be under the interpretation of the referee. So I guess sometimes the panel, like guys, are like, do you think that, what am I trying to say? Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that the referees were right according to the
rules.
Rules, yeah.
But should this rule, given the intention of it was to stop people from bear hugging people down in the first rule, not apply in these circumstances?
I feel
Tough
that
one.
we're not giving managers referees the opportunity to ref the game off their own intuition. Yes, I understand your intuition can be wrong at times, but in them two situations, I think if the referees was just ordinary fans watching that game, they would have said it wasn't. So we should allow them to have that leeway to say, you know what, in this occasion, it's not that. So I'm going to rescind that. Personally, for me, I wouldn't mind if they gave the penalty, because obviously it's still a pen in a certain sense, but it should have been punished for it. If you get where I'm coming from.
I think it's a stupid law. I'll be honest.
It is a stupid law.
It is stupidity. This comment here is pretty much why I think it, because I'm a Man United fan, but Martial looks for those.
Yeah, he does.
And you can't blame players for looking for it because it's a stupid rule. It's a stupid rule.
No, but
I don't like it.
But you know why it was. This is what I'm saying. Like the intention of the law, the rule, I think is fine, because I do think that like if
it's on sportsmen.
Sorry,
it's on sportsmen like to do something like that, because I've seen it. I think it was Madrid playing Atletico Madrid when Valverde took out Morata while heading on into goals and just swiped him.
Exactly.
But from what happened yesterday, if I was a manager, I'm going to tell my players, listen, I don't care if the player gets injured. Swipe. And for me, that's dangerous. That's more dangerous
Yeah.
than actually letting someone go and score. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got a different take. I don't know why everybody's convinced it was. We talk about the David Luiz foul.
Both of them, Marshall and Luiz.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Martial dived, and he shouldn't have taken a touch. He should have shot. Don't get me started on that.
Yes.
On Luiz, like people saying it 100% wasn't deliberate. Listen, yeah, when you run across a player and he's running across you, it's likely you're going to catch him. I've done that in football where you run across a man and you act like it's not deliberate, but you know you're going to catch him when you run across the back of him.
I get what you're saying, but if you look at the connection, there's no way you're telling me he was trying to let his blades touch him. There's no way. It would have been a lot cleaner.
Do you know what players do? When players run across players and they want to make sure they don't touch them, you see them. They do this thing where they pull their body back a little bit as they go.
Yeah,
by.
they go like that.
Step around,
like that,
and they step around them as they're moving. He moved across him intentionally and knew he might clip him and was happy with the outlet. I don't buy this thing that it was 100%.
Fair enough. Even if that's the case, I still don't believe that's a red card offense.
Yeah.
That leads to a bigger question for me. Like, why are we obsessed with punishing people in football and sending man off? Like other sports that I watch, it takes a lot to get a man off the pitch. In football, 2 silly yellow cards and you can be down 10 men.
Yeah.
And we just accept that.
I think that's I think that's because of. I think that even the concept of the yellow and red card is almost still archaic still, because it's almost like 2 decisions and that's it, and they could be completely unrelated to each other. Like, I like the idea of like I know people don't like in football, but like the rugby sin bin thing, the orange card or some similar thing where you don't just, remove a player from something that might not necessarily be equivalent to something. You just maybe make that team be disadvantaged for a certain period of time, like 10 minutes that player's away.
Yeah.
For me, that sounds more progressive than what we have, where people are being punished for things that they don't even mean. I feel like a red card could be intentional punishment.
Yeah. I think there's just a quickly say saying. The issue what we've got is that there's a lack of consistency in referee decisions. So like you see the one with David Luiz the other day where he got a straight red. I guarantee that will happen in the next couple of games again, and it will be the opposite decision. And that's the biggest problem we've got at the moment, isn't it? It's the lack of consistency from referees in making decisions. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. But go on, Dan. What was you saying?
Yeah, so I want to ask everybody here a question, right? So just we can be clear on what we will think the rule should be in that type of situation. Talk about the David Luiz one. Let's say a player. So we all agree if a player like hacks a man down blatantly, pulls his shirt ridiculously, you know, when they rugby tackle, man, that type of thing. That's
a red card. Yeah.
What if he makes a genuine slide tackle, just misses it, just by an inch? Is that straight red for the line of a goal scoring opportunity?
Yeah, because he's mistimed it, isn't he? He's mistimed it.
Are we all Indiana, are you happy with that, Kesh? Right? Is everyone happy with that?
I think it depends on where it's done. If it's done inside the box, then it should be yellow card. If it's done outside the box, then it should be a red card, because that player, that player could be sworn goal based on that, and then it's just a free kick.
Wait. What are we saying? Are we saying like studs up, or are we just saying mistimes the tackle? He's a little bit slow, takes him out.
I'll be honest, the bigger point I'm trying to get to, I've always known this before VAR was going to come. Football is one of those sports where you can't write rules to account for all the things that happen in the penalty box. You just can't write rules to cover everything. Yeah, that's why I'm saying there's too many scenarios to cover. Listen, in the NFL, they can rule out a touchdown for the elbow being in the wrong position when the player caught the ball. Like it's deep like that, and no one argues. That's what it is. In football, we're just gonna cry about it. Nah, it should be this. It should be that. So like, see, that's Indiana immediately goes, but is it studs up? Okay, let's say it wasn't, and the guy gets a yellow, like Red Devil Studio suggests, and then they miss the pen.
No, because I think it's different, Danny.
You'll still be salty that he didn't get sent off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it's different if it's like so he's intended to play the ball, so he's gone for it, but the striker's just been too quick and he's clipped him, or to when it could be sort of, hang on, I've just got to take him out. If he's just got to take, I think that's where the ref can look at the video, and VAR can help with that. But when it's you're just late, and you have made an attempt for the ball or a clip like we've seen. I don't think those clips should be red cards. I think they should be yellows. Still a penalty, but I think they should be yellow cards unless it is really intentional. Because for me, the Martial one wasn't intentional, and I don't think the David Luiz one was intentional either. I think they should be yellow cards, but still a penalty.
But see, so you accept that, like, because I agree with you, but my thing is, like, and I'm thinking of like certain Champions League finals where like the player is through on goal, they're not in the penalty box yet. And then the attacking player comes, makes a play for ball, but takes the player down, and their only punishment is just a yellow card. So you can see how that situation would be abused, because then teams would just say, right, okay, yeah, just make a click, make any attempt. In the last minute of the game, that person's thrown goal. You've now brought them down. They're going to get no clear direct advantage from a free kick out of the area that most likely is not going to go in, and the player's got a yellow card. So that's why I feel like if it's outside of the box but you're through, it's got to be a red card, because there's no, at least if it's in the box and it's a yellow card, you've got a penalty. So there's a direct advantage. Okay. Yes, you can miss it, but there's at least an advantage.
Yeah, I get you.
What if you've got an open? What if you've got an open goal in the box and someone takes you out? That's got to be a clear red. I know you're getting an opportunity to take a penalty, but there's no say you're going to score it.
You know what I mean? So, sorry, Indiana. So we have to write rules that account for every single possibility.
Yeah.
Which is that.
No, Danny, you can say that we all know that the Martial one, that all came from him having a bad touch. It was a bad touch. The ball got away from him.
Write a rule to account for that situation, though.
Yeah, but he hasn't got the ball under control.
True.
So surely you can write a rule that says the player must have the ball under control, because if the ball's got away from him, it's closer to the keeper than it is to him.
But the keeper, I could argue,
it's not a clear goal scoring opportunity.
I could argue in the football court law, the goalkeeper was still on his line, and it looked like Martial had a decent chance of getting to the ball. So that's what I mean.
No, come on. I want to hear what Ryan's got to say, because he hasn't said anything on this yet. It'd be good to get a fresh opinion on it.
You know, I don't think any of them were red cards yesterday. I love the Luiz one just because it's Arsenal, so I did not mind that. But I think unless you are last man and it is an intentional foul, then that's sent off. I do not think the Bednarek one was, because I just don't think that. I don't think Luiz was either, because he did not go for the tackle. Yeah, he's clumsy. He is a clown of a defender, and he makes a stupid runs tracking back. But he didn't intentionally go for the ball. It is simply the guy's run in, brushed his kneecap, and he's sent him off. I think unless you're actually, it's an intended tackle on a goal scoring opportunity, then just that's it. Yeah, it's a sending off. But I just think, I can't remember who said it, but I think the referees in this league are they're too trigger happy on the red card. They love picking the red card out and just giving a red card. I don't know why, but at the same time, I think with VAR they've just put too much rules in for the quality of the referees we've got. You
said referees are trigger happy. This is how you know you're so right. I watched it. Is that echo?
There's some echo. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah. I think it's you, Kesh. That's better, yeah.
So I watch Italian football, and most of the games are littered in yellow cards. And you'll get through a game with both teams on like 5 yellow cards, and no one's been sent off. And that's how you know the referees in these countries are a lot better. They got a temperament where they know that it's not everything is a second yellow. Like, you don't need to ruin the game. Like, unless it's something that's very devious, you shouldn't need to go to that level. Our Premier League referees, they seem to feel, okay, he's done that, that's enough. Because they're catering towards the opposition's fans, basically. Because they know the fans are going to be like, no, he should have been sent off. But I don't feel you should ref the game based on what the fans are thinking. Base the game off just reffing the game and making it entertainment for both teams. Because red cards ruin games. We know that. And
But there are
Even
no
with
fans, there are no fans in the stadium though now. So
well,
that
but
should be an issue.
fans are watching though. They've got it in there that fans are watching and fans are still judging. But you shouldn't care what the fans are thinking. That's not your job. Your job is to ref the game to the best of your ability. So when you look at when Arsenal versus Chelsea and Kovacic got sent off, that was far from a second yellow to be sent off. And he only done that because he thought, nah, that's enough to get another yellow. The fans are going to be upset about it. I feel that's only why he done it. But you should ref the game to the best of your ability and not ruin the occasion. Unless it's very devious, where you can say, you know what, ref had to do that. I didn't feel the ref had to send them off.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Kesh. I do agree. Does anyone else want to touch on this topic, or shall we move on to the next big one that I know you're all going to like talking about?
I think. So I was going to say that my final just point is that the reality is is going to stay in the Premier League. It's not going anywhere. So we just kind of have to get used to it and just hope that like the laws are aligned with it. That's basically what I'm just going to say.
Just to that point very quickly,
the
bigger problem are the laws, not actual. Like VAR is always going to have problems because humans use it. Like it's just, it's what it is.
I agree.
We all agree, and we move on. I think one of the last topics that we've got to talk about are Liverpool out of the title race after today's performance against Brighton. If I'm right, it got to the 65th or 70th minute. They didn't have one shot on target. They had 0 shots on target against Brighton. Dan, are they done?
I plead the fifth. Give me a second. I'll come back with an answer. Just give me an answer.
Kesh?
For me, listen, I backed City in pre-season. I said City will retake the title. But the way they started, I thought, this ain't City that I know of. Then they rose from the ashes. And you can see that the belief they got is like the City of old. They're just going about their job, and they've got this belief that no one can stop them. That's the belief. That's when I'm watching. That's how I feel. They believe no one can stop them. With Liverpool now, they've lost that aura that made Liverpool what they are. They was. There's teams going there against Liverpool and knowing that they can stop them from even getting a shot on target. That's been 3 occasions this season. I think they've not had a shot on target. Like,
yeah, it's bad.
I understand you've got the injuries and everything, and I do feel for them as fans because I do feel after winning your first title, the Champions League, you should be looking at the opportunity and saying, let's secure ourselves, let's go and dominate. And I feel their owners let them down massively. It's now a thing where so much things have gone on in the season. They've now got City. And for me, if you do not win that game, you're out of the title race. Because City's not going to
win
let
the
up.
league as well.
Yeah,
I think
City's not going to let up.
Yeah, I think they win the league.
Yeah,
City's not going to let up. City's not going to let up. City's not one of these teams where if they lose a key player, they can't manage. They can manage. So when I see fans are saying, they lost De Bruyne, they're going to drop points here and there, I think, shut up, man. You see the abundance of talent they got in that team. Do you remember when City won the title, De Bruyne was out for literally almost half a season?
Yeah.
So what do you think the difference is going to be now? You see Gundogan is looking like fine wine right now. Like, the guy looked like I don't know, he's a new player. He's just,
Foden.
He's added more goals to his game. You got Foden, who's 17, 18, looking like he's a senior pro, like he's been playing for years. Like, this team is doing a lot better than what I thought they would have. And when you look at the defense that they've built, they can manage to go without a De Bruyne, because if they don't win, I don't see them losing. I see them drawing. So they're still going to pick up points.
13 W's in a row for City. 13 W's.
Madness. How many clean sheets they got?
I don't even know. We need to check it out. Let's have a look.
I can't remember the last time they conceded.
While Jem's checking, what I just wanted to have a look at, because I was thinking this before we went live, I thought this would come up, but I wanted to make sure I had it right. So Manchester City, after 21 games last season, had 44 points. This season, they're on 44 points, playing 1 game less. So if they win the next game, they'll be 3 points better off. And the reason why I wanted to double check that was because I haven't seen a team that's gone anywhere near the level they were 2 years ago. They're the same team as last season.
Yeah.
All that's happened is they still create the same number of chances with De Bruyne or without. They've lost their goal scorer, but the defense has got better. So they've subtracted some goals and improved their defense. But ultimately, the same team as last season. I don't think anybody's out of the title race. I expect City to win it. I expect them to win it. But as far as as long as it's like a 10,000 meter race on the track, right? If there's 10 laps to go, and I'm like I don't know, 10 yards behind you, and there's 12 more laps, I'm still in the race, no? It's not until we get to the last.
They've got when you 1 second, Kesh. So they've got 12 clean sheets. They've got 12 clean sheets. They're top at the moment. Then Aston Villa with 10 and Chelsea with 9 and Arsenal with 8. So they're top with 12 at the moment. 12 clean sheets this season so far.
On what Danny said, so for me, what you've pointed out there, that suggests to me that they've not really come off the level that they was last season. They was actually good enough to win the title. It's just that Liverpool was so amazing. And now Liverpool's dropped off. You would expect, I don't expect City's level to drop from where it was last season.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're the same team they were last season.
Yeah.
The narrative will be, the narrative is United are in it because Liverpool have dropped off. No, City are in it because Liverpool have dropped off as well. You just won't seem that way because they play a consistent, beautiful brand of football and everyone's in love with them. But ultimately, they're maintaining the same level as well. I maintained from the start of the season, I thought maximum points the team will win the league with, is 85 points this season. I always said Manchester United will get 78. If we do any better, who knows, maybe we'll win. But I'm looking at it now. Hasn't changed. 85 points is the cap for me. I expect City to get the closest to that or get.
You know what? I said 77 that will win the league. I said 77.
I think it'll be less than that. I think it'll be less than that, bro.
I said 77.
Worse than last season. You guys are crazy.
No. I understand that.
Right,
I understand that.
Let's have a look.
No, it is worse than last season, but I believe it'll be 77. I do.
When was the last time? Jim, I'm not going to make Jim research this. That would be mean. But when was the last time a team won the league with less than 80 points? Would it be Leicester? Was it 78 that they got? What did they get?
I can't remember.
Look, Man City are on 47 points. All right, they need another 35 odd points to get. What did you say, Dan? 84? Did you say that you need? They should
85.
reach 85 odd points, and there's what? 17 games left. If so, to do that.
Yeah. I'll get it. By the way,
It's
Leicester
possible.
with 81 points. Yeah, it's possible. Because what people miss is actually teams win more games after you've played about a third of the season. You win more games in the last 2/3. That's why when people were going crazy about Man United after the first 6-7 matches, I'm like, do you people care about the history of football at all? Never pay attention to how these things work.
Yeah.
Even when people say, "Oh, United are only at the top because this team dropped," when Mourinho came and won back-to-back titles with Chelsea, they dropped off. We capitalized. That's
how it works. That's how it works.
That's how it works. You cannot. Kesh was talking about, was it Indiana or somebody else was making the point about Liverpool's board dropping the ball. Klopp's been backed. The way they've dropped the ball is that they don't understand the fact that even though you have one league title, you've actually had two seasons of title winning consistency. So technically, you've from a consistency standpoint, you've won 2 league titles. To win a third, you need to invest in your squad heavily.
Yes.
That's why
Heavily,
they were always going to drop off.
Yeah.
That's why they were always going to drop off. And again, the history of the league tells you that thus far, only one manager has won 3 in a row, and only 2 managers, 3, Mourinho, Pep, and Sir Alex have won back-to-back. Not even Wenger could do that. So
it's the hardest thing to do, Danny. To win the title back-to-back is the hardest thing to do, and only the top sides do it. I'm sorry. They do.
Top sides, only the greatest Premier League teams.
Greatest Premier League teams, yeah, sorry.
So my question is this: where do we rate this Liverpool title-winning team compared to these back-to-back title-winning trophy teams? Are they up in the top 5 in terms of the best teams?
I'll answer that very, very quickly. Until you do it, which is retain a league title, you're not in the conversation. Simple as that. That's all I've got to say.
I agree.
Or you're on Arsenal Invincibles. I think that's a unique situation.
Nah, we don't talk about the Invisibles.
No, I think
nobody cares about
that. you have to apply context because I've heard a lot of Liverpool fans say this team's better than Invincibles, and I'm saying the Invincibles wouldn't lose the games that Liverpool's losing. They had better mentality. You think they're gonna go and lose to Brighton like this? You think they're gonna go Southampton and not even get a shot on target? That wouldn't happen. That would never happen.
That's even worse, though, isn't it?
I can't get involved in talks of title. Don't work for me. I can't get involved. I'll let you boys talk about your title.
Yeah, the banter you'll get.
No, Ryan, tell us your thoughts on Liverpool though. As well, are they out? Are they out of the title?
Yeah, they've done that. I only see it now between City and United. That's it. I think the further City get in the Champions League, the better chance Man U will have of winning the title. I think City will prioritise the Champions League more, just so Pep can say he's won City the Champions League. If Man U are close enough, I think they'll get rid of the Europa League. If they can win a title now, they will. Yeah, they'll go straight for it. I think I can still see Liverpool dropping quite. I can see City running over Liverpool when they play. To be honest, I can't see that being a close contest.
Listen, guys, I've got to go. Before I go, I think Liverpool are going to beat City on the weekend. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with.
I do as well, actually.
The way people react to form this season, have you guys learnt nothing yet? But I'll leave it at that. Indiana, thank you as always. Jem, love you as always. Cash.
Thank you, Danny. Take care, bro.
Ryan, good to see you.
Take care.
See you later, bro.
The thing is, I agree with Danny saying you can't really read off what's going on with football because the form means nothing at times. But I feel this City's defense will be so stern and stubborn that Liverpool just won't listen. If Southampton and teams like that can stop Liverpool from scoring goals, I don't see why City should have an issue to do that. City might not win, but I don't think they'll lose.
But Cash, you say this, but when City have had to play a top side like the United game, that was dead.
It was dead. That's because
the Manchester derby was dead, and it only takes. Those are the sort of games where it takes a moment of brilliance, like an informed Salah to score a goal. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
The City's form at Liverpool is shocking. They struggle to beat them at Liverpool. I can't remember the last time they won a game away to Anfield. They just don't. So there's always in the back of the head that Liverpool could get something. Go on, Red Devil Studios. What was you going to say, man?
No, I was going to say I assume that that the likes of Mane, for example, is going to be back, and a few others. Obviously, Matip's out for the season, but they might have a few other players that might be able to come back into this team as well. Just going back onto the point of City and why they are. I always said that the team that has I think people forget that. And I make no comments that City have the best squad in the league. They have the best squad in the league, so just about the way that Pep is a great man, but the way that Pep plays, but I don't know a single team that has the caliber of players on reserve that City have, that you can have a bench and you can still have players that are consistently good. With one or two exceptions, so we knew that we were in a difficult, busy, COVID-ridden season. And so the team that was going to basically have the players. Now, this might change, especially because next week Champions League and Europa League come back. And so suddenly quite a few teams in the Premier League now have an additional game a week to prepare for as well, which means an additional risk of COVID, an additional risk of injuries. So that might also be a massive factor as well. We don't know. But it just highlights the point of the teams that have the biggest squads and the broader breadth of talent are going to be the teams that are going to be doing well at the end of the season. That's why we're seeing Spurs drop, because they relied on Son and Kane, and that worked for a few months. But after a while, Kane's now injured and so on. You can't. Do they have anyone else to replace with any breadth? No, they don't. So that we're seeing problems, So Liverpool, I never believed had the same depth of squad as City had ever, even during the title side. And the reason why they were so successful last season, frankly, was that they didn't have any real major injuries last season. All of the main key spine of the team played together, played well, clicked, and they won the title. But now that they have injury issues and problems, and they don't have any solid world-class depth to replace them, we're seeing them struggle. Whereas United, a bit better, because we haven't had to deal with many really bad injury issues, like Shaw being out all the time. Pogba,
not yet.
So not yet, exactly. So, but apparently Phil Jones is almost going to come back. So there you go. That's something. He's always fit
I'm
after.
glad you ended on that.
He's always fit after
Yeah.
transfer closes. I don't know why that happens.
Yeah, no, he just sits back and thinks, we're not in a title race. I'm not getting involved.
Yeah.
You know what?
Now
it
we
is?
are. I'll be
Liverpool, they tend. You have to remember though, they do tend to turn up in the big games. It's the smaller games they don't turn up in. But that
Yeah.
brings my question to saying, do we believe that they will secure top 4 this season?
I said it, didn't I, in the group chat the other day? I was like, I have a feeling that with Tuchel coming in, Spurs with Mourinho, that problem will be fixed one way or another. He'll either get the sack, he'll be gone, and someone else will come in and they'll start bouncing back, or he will fix the problem. That's what will happen with Mourinho. It'll either be lockdown tight football, 1-0 win victories. That's what he does. Or he'll have to go and a new manager will come in, new manager bounce and fix it. Tuchel at Chelsea. Arsenal can take points off of anyone, whether they win or lose, they are back. And then you have Liverpool, and the drop off for them is just massive. They can pretty much lose against anybody. This is the first time you can't decide who's going to win the game when it's a Liverpool game. I can never make my mind up. Who's going to win the game when Liverpool are facing anybody? That's the first time for about 10 years I've thought like that. 10 years. And that tells me there's a good chance. And you got Leicester to throw in there as well. Everton, they could pick up. They just bought Josh King to put some pressure on their strikers. All these teams could push for that 4th spot. And I don't think Liverpool have enough. I'm surprised this window they didn't go and get... I'm surprised they didn't go get Josh King themselves this window as a different striker. Another option.
But they're going to have Jota back. Go on.
I was just going to ask a quick question, Indiana, because like literally Champions League is from next week. Like, does it even put Liverpool's Champions League's ambition, because they're playing RB Leipzig and Nagelsmann is no slouch?
They're out.
Do you think the Klopp is thinking, I cannot physically manage the Champions League and the Premier League, so I'm now going to have to make a decision. Do I throw the league and focus on the CL, or do I throw the CL and go for a title push, especially if they beat City at the weekend?
I was talking to Danny earlier, and I think the teams that drop out the cup competitions this season especially, because normally I would say momentum can help you through another competition, right? Like if you're winning in the league, it can help you through a cup. I believe that. But this season with COVID, you never know who's going to pick it up. The injuries, congested fixture lists. I think the more cups you drop out of, the better the chance you have of finishing in the top 4 in the league. I really believe that.
You can concentrate on it, can't you?
Exactly.
Less
and I think
games, less injuries and players.
Liverpool's squad's too stretched. It's far too stretched as it is. They're playing 2 midfielders. They're two of their best midfielders and centre back at times. Like, think about what they're doing. Like, I think they'll be out of the Champions League. If I'm Klopp, I'm not worried about the Champions League. I'm securing top 4, so I can get that Champions League money. Trying to reinvest in the summer. That would be priority number 1, because the summer for me is going to be a buyer's market. Especially with the clubs that you've got Barcelona, Messi has to go, all these things. So yeah, if I'm Klopp, I'm throwing it. I'm not going to lie. I'll be throwing.
If Messi comes to City, man, it's just that's for another topic. But
we'll do that another day, definitely.
Yeah.
But it would. Would it, I don't want to. I want to talk about it now, but it's not. Let's save it for another day.
Yeah,
save it for another
day. We're pushing an hour anyway. Indiana, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I just wanted to touch on Jose quickly at Spurs, and we don't have to spend long on it. Just spend 5 minutes, but I wanted to touch on are we seeing the same patterns we've seen his last Chelsea tenure and United? Are the club actually backing him? Does he feel like they are? And is it a better option for Spurs just to say, look, we're going to pay off your contract and bring someone else in? Because it doesn't look to me like the players are happy, if I'm honest. When I see them playing, they don't they don't look like they're gelling a lot of the time. It's a really...
I don't think he's. I personally don't think he's getting the best out of them, and I don't think you can play the style of football that Jose Mourinho wants with Spurs because, look, put it this way, I think Spurs prefer to just go out and attack. They're not. I mean, you look at them defensively; they're fragile. Do you know what I mean? And he's asking people like Son, Kane, Bergwijn, all these players to actually take, a couple yards step back and defend when we haven't got the ball, when really, in fairness, they want to get the ball and probably just play football. Do you know what I mean? A bit of one-touch football, get up the pitch, do what they're good at. And I don't think he's allowing them to do that. I think you saw it against... Who did you lose to recently? You lost 1-0, didn't you?
Brighton the weekend, yeah.
Yeah, on the weekend. Brighton, you literally go to 5 at a back when you haven't got the ball against Brighton. And it's like, you're playing Brighton. Pressurize them on the ball. Don't give them time. He's allowing that. He's allowing that pressure. So I don't think they're gelling because I don't think the formation and the style of football suits the players that you've got at the club. If that makes sense. I don't know what Ryan thinks about that. Ryan, what do you feel?
Yeah, the type of football he wants to play, he's playing it with an Eric Dyer at centre back. You can't play that with it. He's had, like I said before, he's had John Terry and Carvalho at Chelsea. He's had Lucio at Inter Milan. He's had Sergio Ramos at Real Madrid. That works with players like that, leaders, good defenders. Control. Yeah, that's it. Eric Dyer cannot play centre back. He cannot do that.
No, he's a fraud. He's a fraud, mate.
But but mate, did you not like, because as a United fan, obviously in general, appreciate that we knew, especially having had Jose for how many years, this style of football, this style of the way that they wanted to play. And when he came, the ambition was that it was just all about winning trophies, wasn't it? So if he goes and wins the Carabao Cup and somehow beats
City,
which he might, you never know. Jose is good in finals, to be fair.
That's what he's here for.
Isn't that still by definition of success? Because you already knew the style of football he was going to bring before he came, but the fact that he wins a trophy,
if he wins it though,
I'm just saying hypothetically, if he did, does it not, the whole thing of style of play or players or whatever, does it actually really matter?
If he wins the Carabao Cup, that puts him on a level with Juan de Ramos, who won it. We brought Mourinho in for more than that. You know what? The problem, my brother's massive Man U fan, and when we got him, he rang me when we got him, and he was telling me all about what to expect and what to not expect. But as a name, like I said, just the name Mourinho brings, whether you like him or not, it does bring something to you because he's a massive name. And when you think of Mourinho, you think if you get someone like Mourinho in, you think our board might actually open up a little bit and give him money. But the problem is, we've had it before when January Harry Redknapp had us in 3rd place. He was given Ryan Nelson and Louis Saha. That's what our board does. They don't back the manager. They put more at the end of the day, if your team's struggling, the only person who's gonna get crucified for it is the manager. So he will get crucified for it. Like, especially if we lose to Chelsea tomorrow, that will put a lot of pressure. The only benefit he's got is there's no fans in the stadium for it. If we had fans in the stadium now, it'd be a lot worse for him. Yeah. 3/4 of the Spurs fans you talk to cannot stand having him as manager.
Can I ask you something? Because I got this. I speak to Josh that comes on the terrace. He's a Tottenham supporter, and I was literally saying to him, I don't feel Spurs will get any better than they are now. Not because they can't, because they're in the Premier League. The Premier League team's got money. Every Premier League team's got money. But the fact that if you don't win anything in the golden era where you've got Kane and Son, are you going to go and replace Kane with a player as good as him? Because remember, Kane is like one in a million, like a world-class striker through your academy. That doesn't happen very often. You know what I mean? So are they going to go and replace, give him, whoever's managing, your manager at the time, are they going to give him an adequate replacement for Kane when he decides to retire?
No, they won't. If we were to sell Kane, they would use the Kane money like they did the Gareth Bale money. rather than going out like Liverpool selling Coutinho and getting 2 players of Alisson and Van Dijk, it's just not something that they'd rather go out and buy. Soldados, Lamellas, Kirikes, all players. I don't know what it is about them, but like I said when I was on Eleanor's show on the Terrace a minute ago, our owner, his net worth is 4.7 billion. But you won't imagine that. Oh, I'm sure they could afford a 55, 60 million pound defender to replace Eric Dyer. And I get that I get the stadiums cost 1 billion and stuff like that. But if you want success, you've got to spend money to eventually get that money back.
Yeah, and that's what I feel. I think they're gonna fall into the trap of when Arsenal first got their stadium. They was too worried about the paying back the debt and everything, rather than actually balancing it out and paying for the debt and actually making sure you're having a good team for every season that you go into. And I feel once you go down that route, it's hard to come back by it. Like you've seen it. It took Arsenal only started spending money, like real money, the last 5 years. And I feel you might go 10 years before you start spending real money. If that's the way you're going to go.
Yeah, that is like I said, he could sell Kane and Son now for 3 figures. Bearing in mind, obviously, once COVID's done and teams are back on the feet. But
I feel that's what you should do. But I feel you're going to wait for so long when Kane's value is just going to be at the lowest it's ever going to be. And then by then, it's not enough to help you rebuild the team.
Yeah, but the owners, the only minds of Daniel Levy and all these owners, I think it's important to establish that, like the likes of the Glazers, like Arsenal's owners and Levy owners, that their mindset, they're like fundamentally, unfortunately, like they are running a business. That is the mindset of it. It's a business first. Whereas when you look at Chelsea run, I'm sure Jem will whether Abramovich does things. The guy, like he's a football fan. The sheikhs, love football, so their mind. So it's more like a luxury toy hobby. Something that, you want to get a better hobby. You put more time into it, etc. And that's what they do. And that's why you can spend 200 million. It's nothing. You can whatever. So unfortunately, you can't unless you luck up. Because I think Liverpool did luck up with Klopp. To be frank, it wasn't a World Cup. They locked up with Klopp and with a few other things. And he built them into something. But aside from Klopp being an example, most other teams around Europe, unless they're like really long-term established like Bayern, need to spend tons of money to be able to compete. And if it's run like a business, it's always going to be about balancing the books and not reinvesting in here, especially in these COVID times. But if it's like Chelsea and to a certain extent City, and you're not going to be able to compete with that.
And that's what I say, because when I speak to Arsenal fans, they say we're a self-sustaining model. We should follow that. I said to them, that does not work. Don't look at what Leicester done. That was a one-off. Don't look at what Liverpool done, because they were very fortunate that they were able to get 130 mil at the time for Coutinho, which helped them in their bid to progress. You're not going to get that all the time. And now what you're seeing is their owners are not as great as everyone claimed they are to be, because look what's happened now. So this self-sustaining model doesn't work. You need an owner who's progressively invested in making a team be consistent performers and always chasing a goal. And you can clearly see that FSG, they couldn't care less after Liverpool won that title.
Yeah, it's very true. It's like Daniel always says, clubs want the Champions League money, but the players want the trophies. And that would be my fear for Spurs with the Kanes and Sons, is that at some stage Kane's going to want to go and challenge for major trophies. I just think he will. But yeah, I think we're going to have to wrap up. We'll be going over an hour. Ryan, great having you on. Thanks for coming on, mate, because I know you're just on a long stream as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, mate.
That's all right. A lot of people watch on the playback. If you are watching on the playback, go into the description. Everybody's links are in there. Ryan's Twitter's in there. You can go through and check out the shows he's on. Go and follow him. Jem, thanks for hosting. That was great. Kesh, thanks to Danny coming on, and Prime. RDS as always. Tomorrow we start a new show. It's actually Eleanor's show, but she's not going to be able to make it because she's going to be doing the review after the Spurs Chelsea game. So Yannick is going to be hosting that lady show. We bookended each week, so it'll be review and preview. That's a Thursday and Sunday. We've got some new faces on, people we don't stream with. Some have got Twitch accounts, some great followings. Some of them are over 20,000 followers. Great knowledgeable ladies doing the lady show, covering the whole Premier League. So go and check that out, please, people. And thank you everybody for jumping on and watching the stream.
Sweet.